Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
As, as part of my ILO training, I'm required to teach two 15-minute classes. This being the first. In today's class, we will discuss and develop a wider understanding on entrepreneurial abilities and characteristics. I know that a number of you gathered here have business ideas that you would like to develop and to establish your own small businesses. So let's just start by going around the room and introducing ourselves, even though we're very familiar with each other. I am Urica Primus, and I'll be your facilitator today. And you are?
Primus.
Sheffield Douglas.
Different.
Mario Primus.
Actually, you know, for your age 60.
That's quite an introduction.
Sherlock Douglas.
Thank you all for coming and for giving me of your time. I do know that it's quite late, so I'll try my best to ensure that everyone is engaged and no one falls asleep. So for those of you who, and for everyone actually, when you think of an entrepreneur, what are some of the words that come to mind?
A shop.
A shop? So,
Executive, business person, tactical, someone who knows the way to plans.
Ms. Douglas, anything comes to mind for you?
Entrepreneurs.
1 second, Chef. Your mom.
Society.
Very good. Sheffy, you want to say something?
An entrepreneur for me is a person who has a business, has an idea to start a business, or a person that has plan to start a business, but don't always necessarily know how to go about establishing that, putting together. But an entrepreneur is somebody who owns their own business.
That's very good. And it's also very critical to understand that being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you don't need support, that you don't need training, that you don't need molding. It's just accepting that you have an idea that you want to develop and you're going to do so, but you need to plan and to strategize to make that a success. So what are some of the abilities that you think a person needs or skills that they need to become an entrepreneur? David Ferrer in the back.
What skills they need to, I don't know if this is necessary, but they need to go through a full life of school. They need to learn from their past and their mistakes to help improve their business or whatever they're doing.
So you're saying that they need to do an assessment basically. So you review if they had previous businesses, what are some of the things that they could have done better to make that business a success? What are some of the areas that they need to develop in? That is very good. Does anyone else have any thoughts about what are some of the abilities or the skills that people need if you want to become an entrepreneur?
I have lots of skill and everything that you need to have, like a business plan, so the business doesn't go off right away.
And why do you think, what are some of the things you think you should have in your business plan?
How you would fund for it, how you would start it off, and the rest from business plans.
I understand. Funding is important, but you also can include, one, you start from your idea. What gap exists that your business is going to fill? So what makes your business special? What makes your business unique? And in order to identify that, one of the core abilities or skills that you would need would be your passion. Your ideas come from what are you passionate about? What do you like doing? What do you enjoy? So that every day your job doesn't feel like a burden, but it's something that makes you happy and you make the lives of the people in which you're providing your services or your products feel better through your work. And Angie, from your face, you want to say something.
So just to connect with the idea of having a passion and starting your work, that too can allow you to exist in probably a good or sizable social network in which you could project off your ideas and go forward and, you know, building yourself in your business.
Yeah.
So connections.
The connections are also going to go hand in hand with your commitment. How dedicated are you to your business success? So using your networks, using the people in which you know, the companies or the businesses that you're connected with to also be part of your strategy. If that makes sense to you. Does that make sense to you? Mr. Douglas, I know that you have more experience than everybody else in the room in business, and especially from a mining perspective and mining support services perspective. One of the core areas that we might connect with is risk taking, because with mining, especially in the period in which you started, it's not like, no, we're like Sheffield, we go to GMC, she can find out from them and their geological research was the best area to start from, where do they see gold deposits. Then you were working without any information. You're just working on, probably if you go do a quick test with the bottle, somebody gets a shout and you go on the same string that you hope you find it because nobody have any data. So the ability to take risks goes a long way in business. Because sometimes you need to take a risk for the business to expand. You need to take a risk for the business to start. So if you want to get into a business and you want to be a serious business person, you want to grow your business, you have to be prepared to take risks. And the risk goes hand in hand with managing stress.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I've learned over the years is that not all entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs have some of the brightest ideas to create a business. They have the, wonderful ideas, to sell a product or a service, but they are not always the best managers.
Yeah.
So that is where you have to, even though sometimes it feels as though you're handing over or giving serious responsibilities to people and this is your idea, you have to be able to take that step and incorporate that, because you can have the most brilliant ideas, but how to execute that or how to manage it sometimes is like, for example, what happened in the company over the last year.
Yeah.
Right? The management of the resources. And sometimes too, also what I've learned, that not all managers shares your passion or your vision for your business as an entrepreneur. You might see might want to see your business in 5 years' time being multi-million-dollar enterprise, but you might hire a manager and they don't share the same vision, or they don't have that projection in their mind for your business. So that's in a sense too is a risk, but it's a risk that you have to take sometimes.
One of the things in which we can explore in future classes is managing people as well as training needs. Because in some cases you hire someone, and in the case of the company, you hire someone that you can trust, but maybe you need to enhance their skills. So it's not just you hire someone within a position, and oftentimes it is easier to train persons to acquire skills than it is to learn to trust somebody new. And especially since you have years of experience with that person and the type of industry that you're in, you have to ensure that trust is more important in that area. Because this person is handling all of your resources, they're making all of the decisions on the ground, the goal that is being produced goes directly to them. So what you can do, especially during the periods that we will be partaking in the mentorship, You can also include your management staff.
In that membership program.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things that I started to do is talk to them about management, right? Before, I was so focused on getting people who I could trust,
Yeah.
but they were lacking the basic skills to manage and lead a team. So, yes, it's Mark's
And oftentimes what happens within the extractive industry is that people don't treat it like a business.
That's right.
So,
So
you,
that's where the vision
Mhm.
aspect comes in.
So now that you have more of a business approach to mining, that isn't something that is shared. So people might be coming on with years of experience, but they didn't experience the type of leadership that the business is offering. So it's just understanding that, but also understanding the different approaches that can be taken and the different support that the team may need to actually come into the vision of what you have for it.
I have actually seen some improvements, a lot of improvements, since I started to talk to the manager about leadership qualities. Because most times they
Maybe you should
react.
have invited that person here.
They instead of responding to the situation, they reacted, you know, and it most times it never solved the problem. It just escalated the problem, right? So yeah.
One of the the last ability that the entrepreneurs need to have is innovation and creativity. Emmanuel, with regards to being an entrepreneur, why do you think innovation and creativity are needed?
Remind me the definition of innovative.
Innovative.
Remind me the definition, please.
Would you like to have the textbook definition, or would you like to have the definition that best applies to your business?
Either way.
So, creativity is the ability to make ordinary things extraordinary. So take for instance, you can have Jojo Siwa, which you might know from Dance Moms, since that might be more relatable with most of this age group. Jojo Siwa brand was built from bows. Ribbon bows are the most simplest things, but she added glitters to them, she added colors to them, she made them a part of all of her outfits, she made them bigger than usual, she started making them in different designs. So her creativity is what moves a simple ribbon bow to a multi-million-dollar company.
I just added some glitters.
So
That is where the innovative aspect comes in.
So take for instance, for you in the business in which you want to start with game development, you've been looking at different games and how they could be improved. That is how you're applying creativity to your own game. So sometimes you are doing something or you have an ability, but you don't always know the label to give to it.
True.
For your business, Angie, how would you say that you were incorporating creativity?
For the bookstore that you want to develop.
Well, in terms of it's a really good nice idea. In terms of delivering it, in terms of like, I suppose, giving customers, that's what the batch appreciation. Once they've already ordered whatever they need to order in the book, you have like this really nice little bag, something that I would assume would be more different than the standards of delivery.
Yeah.
And having a little card that would also promote the business, having its own contacts, and just an appreciation message. So that would hint at regards, I suppose. So for that, yes?
I really like the idea of the bag, especially since most of our deliveries are done in plastic bags. And with regards to the note, even when I order things online, you like when, and you feel more of a personal connection to a brand when you know that somebody took the time to place a message there specifically for you. Does everybody understand the abilities that you need to have as an entrepreneur and could recall any one of them? So which abilities and skills have we discussed tonight?
Innovation, creativity, business planning, and something else.
Does anyone else remember any of the abilities and skills that we discussed? For the people in mining, does anything come to mind when we discussed the abilities that are associated with that industry?
Take a risk.
Calculate risk.
Risk-taking,
Learning your mistakes and what you did before.
doing assessments and improvement, managing
Leadership,
stress.
leadership, ability. Yeah,
And why do you think you need leadership abilities?
because, for example, in mining, like you mentioned before, in the old school, in the old books, they just saw it as an operation in the bush.
Yeah.
It's a bush thing. But because of the level of technology that has been, infused in mining now, that the cost of that operation has tripled.
Yeah.
And this is no longer viewed, it cannot be no longer viewed as a little thing in the bush. So it is important, I've come to learn, leadership is critical because, like you mentioned before, the persons you put to manage the business must be able to have good leadership skills, because at the end of the day, if they're not able to lead the team wouldn't be productive.
Yeah.
And everything wouldn't function, it wouldn't function the way it's supposed to function. Who's going to guide them if they don't have a leader?
And the important thing about the leader is that the leader is the decision maker.
Yes.
So if you're going to make decisions,
Hard.
especially in mining, if you're not sure about what you're doing, you could be easily led astray.
That's right.
Because everyone has their own experiences, everyone wants to share that experience, and oftentimes a lot of the workers are competing to be close to the boss, so they want to show as though they know more. And some of them want to replace the boss, so they want to show that they know more. And everyone is bringing their own ideas, and you have to be the person to say this is what we're going to do.
That is what I used to always tell my business partner, who also lacked leadership. Understands some technical things, very difficult, but in terms of leadership and management, very, very poor.
What you can do during the Christmas break, because I don't know if the operation is going to close for Christmas. So if you are planning on, even if you're going to close from Christmas to New Year's, what we can do is to arrange to have one-on-one sessions. So you try to improve those skills while they're here.
Yes. Because
And we're at 15 minutes. So in our next session, we'll be able to go more into some of the topics that were covered today. But I'm really glad that everyone has the ability to now assess themselves against the skills and the abilities that the entrepreneur needs, and to find out and to decide for yourself, do I want to get into entrepreneurship? Am I ready to start a business? Are there skills and abilities that I need to develop before I start? So with that, we've come to the end of the first video, and the closest person to the phone, please stop the recording.
Thank you.
I'm catching cramps in this